The following events occurred in September 2017. MotoGrapher always recommends not to speed on roads, and always wear safety gear. This is the first episode of 6 in the Power Trip 360.
Hey guys, this is Sunny here, also known as MotoGrapher, and welcome to my man cave. There we go. So, welcome to my first vlog, and this is going to be very special because number one, I'm very late to the party called YouTube, and I'm very angry about it, as you can see. And the second thing is that I wanted to show my dream road trip on my dream motorcycle, which I did last year. So, this is going to be very special.
Alright, so a supercharged adventure started from Sydney Opera House, and then we started going towards Brisbane from the east coast. And from Brisbane, we started going towards the center of Australia, Uluru, which is a sacred mountain right in the heart of Australia. From Uluru, we went back up till we hit the end of road in the city of Darwin. From Darwin, it was a long way down via the city of Perth, which by the way is one of the most isolated cities in the world. After Perth, we crossed the entire Nullarbor Plain, which is a fantastic and surreal place to ride in. After Nullarbor, we finally hit the first city after thousands of kilometers, the city of Adelaide. And after Adelaide, it was Melbourne, before we finally hit Sydney after crossing Australia's highest mountain, Mount Kosciuszko.
So guys, this is our penultimate day on the Power Trip 360, and we have done more than 19,000 kilometers. It doesn't even feel like it's been 19,000 kilometers and 45 days almost on the road. It just feels that we started yesterday. I don't feel tired even a little bit.
Yes, we expected this ride to be a lot harder and a lot more complicated but it thankfully went off pretty easily, relatively easily. But we can say this because now the ride is over.
I didn't find anything really tough in this, except just battling sleep a little bit and crosswinds and the animals and riding in the night and finding food in places because most of the
Yes.
places shut down by 7, and road trains, and sometimes what else did you find an issue?
Even though I'm really looking forward to that home cooked food, but I'll definitely miss eating out on petrol pumps and
When I did my first trip in 2007 on the humble Hoisting GT 650Rs, 72 horsepower, I didn't imagine that one day I will be doing this on the world's fastest production motorcycle with 280 bhp at the crank. And so it all happens in due course. I mean, that is what I have learned. If you just keep doing what you want and love what you love to do, things follow. God relents, and right things happen at the right time. Patience is the key, I think, and hard work. A lot of people say you're lucky. Nobody is lucky. I mean, not even the world's richest man is lucky. It's all hard work and presence of mind and patience. We've taken the long road, no shortcuts. So guys, take care and Hi guys, good evening from beautiful Sydney, Australia, and today is almost the D-Day for us, 20,000 kilometers around Australia on these two beautiful machines, and of course powerful machines. The idea for this trip, which is called the Power Trip 360, actually came about not more than 3 months ago. This one here, we have actually reflashed it to make 280 horsepower. We have changed the issue mapping, we have changed the air filter, the exhaust, which you'll probably see behind me, Akrapovic. So now it's making 257 horsepower at the rear wheel. And we have also prepared the bike. Of course, we have ensured that we can carry some luggage. I mean, not as much as a adventure motorcycle. At this particular point, I would also probably call my co-rider here. We are about to start the ride day after tomorrow. What do you think?
yes, I'm excited and a little nervous as well.
Let's go. All right, guys.
So the destination for day 1 was the beautiful little town of Gloucester via the Putty Road. The Putty Road is full of high-speed twisties and is a famous hangout zone for motorcyclists from Sydney. You can see a lot of them riding here, particularly on a weekend. This is the first 50 kilometers that we have covered, and as you can see, it's very beautiful. The high country is about to start, and this road is the Putty Road, which is one of the most beautiful roads in New South Wales. And today we also have seen the first road sign which says 100 kmph right over here. And in the Northern Territory, we will see the 130 speed limit, which is the maximum that we will see in the entire road trip. So behind me, as you can see, we've got some very interesting artifacts. It's like kind of an open air museum of sorts of everything which is not being used and old and rusted. It's actually Mad Max kind of territory I'm in. So this place is called Walka, and it's a town in the middle of where the Thunderbolts and Oxley Highway meet. The woman of the moment, if I can say, is here with me. Say hello to Laura.
Hey guys.
Hey, so she's one of the motorcyclists that we met on Facebook, and we are now meeting her offline. So she rides a CBR 600 You have an Indian connection as well.
Yeah, I have my best friend lives in Gujarat, and so I go over and visit her every couple of years. And while I'm over there, I go travelling and ride through Ladakh and different areas as well.
And so, what do you like best about India? Why do you keep coming back to India?
Nice people, good culture. Australia doesn't have that sort of culture, I guess, so it's sort of cool to see such an old culture and people who are just so friendly with it all and interesting.
Leora, who is also known as Hippie Chick, is a bike racer from New South Wales and usually races on a CBR 125R. She rode a few hundred kilometers from her place to meet us and to ride with us. Thank you so much for your company, Leora. It was great riding with you.
New imaging device acquired.
Guys, this is day 2 of Power Trip 360 and I'm actually at a very magical place. Obviously the beach, it has to be, with the therapeutic sound of the waves and a full moon over my head and thousands of stars actually I can see with my naked eye. This has to be one of the most magical experiences after leaning a bike, a 280 bhp Ninja S2 into the corners. Being a photographer, what the Sony Alpha has given, the capability of showing things in the dark like this is amazing. It's actually, there's no other light except moonlight here, and it's I think 9 p.m. and I just want to absorb this moment a little bit alone. And take care until we see you soon. Ride safe and keep shooting. And on day 4, we crossed into Queensland from New South Wales and reached Gold Coast, one of the most popular tourist destinations of Australia, famous for its surfing beaches.
A word of thanks to our logistics partner, Trip360.com, who helped us choose the best route for Australia. Log on to their website for some fantastic stuff you can do around the world.
Here is the famous Surfers Paradise in Gold Coast, and I think those buildings over there, that is a Gold Coast skyline. This is the first time I'm actually so up close with surfers and this kind of a beach which is actually meant for surfing. So today we have reached Gold Coast, and tomorrow Brisbane, and we'll have lots more things, you know, coming on in this trip. A lot of experiences lined up. So here it is, the world famous Gold Coast.
New armor acquired.
So guys, this is day number 5 of the Power Trip 360 and we have reached Brisbane. And as you can see behind me is a beautiful Brisbane skyline just after sunset. Now the thing with Australian cities is that all of the major cities, mostly, they are on the waterfronts, and the skyline, the tall buildings, they look even more beautiful when they are reflected off in the water, especially at sunset and dawn. So here's the thing, that this is the second big city in our trip after Sydney, and from here on, as we go towards north, for a very, very long time, you're not going to see any big metropolis. So after Brisbane, the biggest city, metropolis, will be Darwin, and that is a good, I think, 5,000 kilometers away from here. So you can actually feel how big Australia really is. It's actually a continent. So guys, today is Wednesday and we were here in Brisbane on the Power Trip 360. somebody told us that there's a big motorcycling meet which is going to happen. So we landed up here, some place called Harry's Diner, and in the car park you can see probably around 200-300 motorcycles. So this was actually a pretty good welcoming kind of a thing for us, totally unexpected, totally unplanned. Let's have a look around, like what kind of motorcycles are here. So this one is usually a police motorcycle in a lot of countries, and that too in white. Come on. This one is really one of the most beautiful motorcycles that I've seen. Miss Baby Blade over here. Do you see that? Pretty exciting. I don't know how much time will India take to reach up to these kind of levels where there are a lot of motorcyclists who just come, hang around and talk to each other, kind of a thing. And this isn't even a planned kind of a meet. It's just once in a month kind of a thing, you know. And there are places in India like Throttle Shortle and stuff like that, but I think they're going to take a lot of time for this kind of culture to come up.
Hi guys, this is Hari from Brisbane. I was in Bangalore for the last 10 years, and my biking journey was more or less nurtured by xBhp. It's really nice that I got to meet Sunil and Sunny, and all the best to these guys, because the task they have taken is like humongous. I just can't imagine riding 800 kilometers on my bike, which is supposedly a touring bike, and these guys are going to do it on super bikes. So all the very best to them, and hope you should ride safe. You guys should ride safe.
New aircraft acquired.
Guys, it's 6 p.m. and the sun has set. This is our first longest day on the ride with 900 kilometers, and we have done around 620, around 285 still to go. As you can see above me, the sign, it says still a long way to go, kids. We actually have a long way to go. We are going to Airlie Beach today. But let's hope that we don't crash into any kangaroo. I mean, we just saw one very big kangaroo lying on the roadside. I don't know who did that to it, but even if it was a bus, I'm sure it would have been shaken. I mean, at least thrown off to the other side of the road. So I am here in the middle of highway under moonlight, and it's absolutely stunning. Almost the Milky Way. It's 10:30 almost, and the last 50 kilometers are left for today's 900 kilometers. So I'm just wondering what will happen when we are supposed to do the 1800 kilometers in a day. This is Airlie Beach and day number 8. We have done 4,000 kilometers. We are in our second state of Queensland after New South Wales. This one is Shoot Harbour, and it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, I don't know if you can hear the sound of waves breaking, and it's so calming, so soothing. And just after listening to the flutter of the supercharger on the H2 and the brutal roar of the V-twin on the Panigale, when you stop to hear this, and especially in such a place, it's absolutely magical. From this point, we left the Australian coastline and started riding inland towards the center of Australia into the Australian outback.
Good morning, guys. Today we are going to Charters Towers from Ireli Beach. We are moving along the coast and going up north. Little after 40-50 kilometers, we'll take a left and start moving towards the center of Australia, towards Uluru, and things will start changing drastically. The population will get sparser, roads will get emptier, and hopefully we'll be able to do much better speeds. And right now we have stopped for a small break. We saw this farms selling these huge vegetables like this one. I don't know what's this, but this looks like yummy food. I wish I could, eat it all, but anyways, see.
Once you leave the Australian coastline and start riding towards the center of Australia, the population suddenly disappears and the nothingness starts getting onto you. The towns look empty and most of the time it is only you on the road and no one else, except a lot of kangaroos and a few occasional road trains. But you also get to see some of the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises here, and also you get to ride more freely because there is almost no traffic and speed limits are not enforced that strictly.
This is actually supercharged, the Kawasaki Ninja H2, and this requires a lot of heat dissipation to keep the bike cool, and hence there's a direct relation more than what you know with the engine oil.
Power upgrade acquired.
Because you don't want this bike to seize in the middle of nowhere. This gets really hot, but obviously that is inside the engine. Because of the oil and coolant, it actually doesn't reflect in the thermometer on the gauge. Today is almost 800 kilometers day. We have done around 50 kilometers. Now we are going to hit a town. It's called Cloncurry. It's supposed to have recorded Australia's hottest temperature ever at 56 degrees.
So the road trains are literally road trains, the trains that run on the road. These are really long trucks, if you want to simplify it.
When you're passing a road train, especially on bikes, there is a suction which is created, and when you pass the road train, all of a sudden a lot of air hits you. So that is something which you also need to take care of. The air is so fresh here. And when I'm looking up in the sky, there are so many stars. I don't think even there's a square millimeter which is devoid of a star. I can see the Milky Way with my naked eyes. And this camera, I don't know what it can do. So we are 45 kilometers from Mount Isa, which is one of the major cities in central Australia, almost. And literally I'm standing in the middle of the highway and just looking at the stars, wondering what is this all about, the universe and all these kind of things. The thing is that this highway, or any road in Australia for that matter, you are not supposed to ride in the dark, but we are doing the exact opposite. We are forced to, because we take so many pictures and videos and do so many updates that eventually we end up riding in the dark. And today we had to ride around 250 kilometers, and along the way the whole highway was actually stinking. There was stench of death and decay, because there were a lot of animals which were plastered onto the tarmac by road trains. So it is that amazing. Let me actually go into the center of the road and just take all this in. I can see the whole Milky Way. It's amazing. I don't know why no aliens landed so far. There must be some. now we are on the Barkley Highway, and we have just bought a 10 liters fuel container which is in the Panigale. The next fuel is 270 kilometers from here, and we are at the border of Queensland and Northern Territory. From here the speed limit changes to 130. So that is a welcome change, but things are getting more desolate and it's incredibly hot, and we just hope that both the man and machine can be okay and make this through. The most critical part is to keep us hydrated and to keep the bike hydrated with fuel, and of course the oil. We should, we'll have to do its part. Alright guys, so we have stopped for a fuel break. The only difference is that there is no petrol pump here. Instead of the petrol pump, we decided to make our own mini fuel pump here. Sunil ji, what are your thoughts after this emptiness?
This is mind-boggling, mind-blasting. So, this is our own petrol tank.
Here we go. Very nice. Very nice. I also want to drink but water. On day 13, while riding to Alice Springs from the town of Tennant Creek in the Northern Territory, we reached this place called the Devil's Marbles, a huge valley filled with round-shaped granite boulders. These boulders were formed due to the erosion of the rocks over millions of years and are sacred to the local aboriginals. When you see these rocks, you start wondering whether this is nature's work or whether some aliens did it. And talking about aliens, we did find a place, which is called the Alien Sighting Capital of Australia. But more about that in the next episode. So guys, that was episode 1 of 6. 5 और episode बाकी हैं, and if they're already uploaded, you'll find the link in the description below. All I can say is that thanks to God for enabling me to do this road trip. And if you also have a dream, go for it. You never know, it might come true. So see you in the next episode.
End of transmission from MotoGrapher. Level 1 complete.